G'day people, this is Sharpino here. Welcome you guys to a different kind of video it's been a while since I've done one of these, so bear with me here. But today guys, I'm going to be going ahead and doing, in my opinion, a Pokemon Legends Arceus game review. Now I know there's been a lot of gaming articles and journalists that have made their opinions known about what they thought about the game, but I thought I would go ahead and give you guys my take on what I felt was good about Legends Arceus, what I felt was bad about Legends Arceus, and what I would give it out of 10 on how well I think Game Freak and Nintendo went on the development of this new Pokemon game that has taken Pokemon in a whole new direction, Pokemon Legends Arceus. So first off, just a couple of facts for you guys. Since the release of Legends Arceus on January 28th, 2022, it's been just about a month since it's come out and it has already sold 6.5 million units in just under a month. Which is pretty impressive when you think about how this game has taken Pokemon down a different path and how it was going to break the mold of what normal Pokemon games were. Aside from your side quest games such as Gale of Darkness, such as Conquest, such as Mystery Dungeon and Ranger Quest, like all those different games. But I don't know if they've classed this as a mainstream story game like Diamond and Pearl, Shining Diamond and Brilliant Diamond, like Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. If these games are under the same parameter as it is a main game but just down a different path, or if it's actually a side game. If someone wants to correct me in the comment section, please do go ahead and do that. But as far as the most sold Pokemon game, and I'm surprised actually by some of these numbers, and you guys probably be surprised as well, I had a look at this article from a website called dotesports.com, and it announced that as of last year, the end of last year, Sword and Shield has sold 24 million units since the end of 2021, which is absolutely crazy. When you think about the fact that Sword and Shield came out in 2020. So it's been about 2 years, just about 2 years since it came out. And yeah, and it's already sold that much. Which is closing in on the highest selling Pokemon game, which is of course the original Red and Blue, since 1996, which was sold 31 million units. So the fact that the game has been out for around 2 years and is actually catching up to the longest game in existence of Pokemon is absolutely crazy. Like, I'll admit, I played Sword and Shield and I definitely think it was a good game, but I didn't think it was to the extent that it was selling that much. Like, I've played other games that I felt was better than Sword and Shield, me personally. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but for me, I feel like Sword and Shield was a good game, but it wasn't like one of the best games. And, you know, I could think of a lot of other games throughout the years that did better on first impression than Sword and Shield. But anyways, we're here talking about Legends Arceus, so let's get into this here. Legend Arceus, however you want to say it. So, first off, my opinion of Arceus. What was my initial reaction to the announcement of Legends Arceus? So, looking at it, I was obviously a little bit skeptical about the game. I was looking at this like, okay, this is definitely something a little different. Now, considering that the way they were advertising it is they were advertising it, you know, it's Pokemon, it's in an open world, you know, you're going to explore, you're going to catch Pokemon. So it had all the original, like, you know, lines from the original Pokemon advertising, but it looked a lot different. It had a lot of Breath of the Wild, you know, graphics and connotations, which a lot of people picked up on when it was first announced. But honestly, I didn't have too much of a high opinion on how this game was going to turn out. Now, it's been a while since I've had this sort of feeling when getting a game, especially with the Pokemon game, because I do love Pokemon. So the fact that I was feeling a bit apprehensive about how well I thought this game was going to do blew me away by once I started getting into the game and actually playing the game and realizing how fun it was. I have to say, I feel like this was one of the best games that, to date on the Switch, I felt like has been Game Freak's best work so far. On the Switch, this has to be one of the best Pokemon games that's been released to date. If this is classed as a side game, I would say this borderlines for me as good as Pokemon Conquest as how good the game was. I thought it was a really good game. So, going back to what I was saying, so the whole point of this game, if you guys haven't played it, you know, I'll just say spoilers beyond this point, because now I'm going to be talking about the actual in-depth info about the game and my experience playing it. The open world exploring aspect for Pokemon has been discussed for decades by Pokemon players all around the world. Every fan base has been discussing, talking about it. You know, the idea of Pokemon being open world, sort of like Zelda Ocarina of Time when it first came out, you know, has been open world, you know, and since then Zelda has had a lot of open world games, and Pokemon's been one of those forbidden doors for us. It's always been sort of an enclosed area. It's not really open world, but this is the first time they took Pokemon to that level, and they delivered. I think they did really well with it. I think it's something that we've been crying out for so long to have, and I think now that we finally have it, we can finally embrace it and say, finally, they listened to us and they gave us what we want, and the reward is the game itself, because again, I think they just did really well with the game, and I think that as far as open world games that we've been begging Game Freak to make, I think this is pretty much what we've asked for. So, without a doubt, I can say that I'm very happy with how this game turned out, and I think most of us, like we talk a lot of YouTubers and all that, and we all share the same opinion, most of us anyways, that this is a really, really good game, and we look forward to, if they decide to do another Legends Arceus, but Legends Ho-Oh, Legend Rayquaza, or Legend Kyurem, or Legend whatever. If they decide to make another build on this and do it in a different region, I reckon that would be amazing if they do that. Now we're going to talk about the roster of the Pokemon in this game. Now, the mix of Pokemon in this game I thought was really good, and by that I mean it was just a nice number of Pokemon on the roster. It wasn't an overinflated number of all 898 Pokemon in the game, since we have 8 generations. It wasn't all of them, almost 900 Pokemon. It was 242, which I thought was a decent number when you consider the fact that throughout the game you have to complete missions for every Pokemon, and if you had more than 242, if you had even more than, say, 400, you know, doing things like getting the Shiny Charm and actually being the main story game would take a lot longer. And, you know, for me, in my personal experience, for me to beat the game, it took me about 160 hours. But some of the stuff I was doing wasn't mainstream for the story. It was other things like shiny hunting, like you know, completing the missions for the Pokemon so that I can have a perfect dex, because in this game you can go for a perfect shiny dex, you can go for a perfect mission complete dex, like perfect dex, or you can just go for the catch 'em all dex to get everyone reached to level 10 and then get the shiny charm. So I feel like any less would make the game too easy, but anything more would have just made the game feel like Dragon Age, where it was just going on forever and ever and ever, and you were spending hundreds and hundreds of hours just to beat the game, you know. So, you know, considering that at the start the mission is to seek out all Pokemon, well, again, I think that number is just enough for us to seek all Pokemon before we get sick of it. You know what I mean? Some people can do 400, some people can do all 898, and if that's you, you know, more power to you, especially if you are one of those people that can dedicate yourselves for long periods of time, invest in the game. I know I personally have done it with, like, say, Final Fantasy X and other Final Fantasy games, and, you know, I can definitely dedicate myself to try to complete a game to the best I can. But not a lot of people are like me, so I understand that they didn't make the roster too big so that it would take forever to complete the game. So, you know, like I said, I think they had just the right number of Pokemon and a lot of mixes of Pokemon as well. And speaking of which, you know, we have the introduction of new Hisuian forms in the game, which is, it's become a thing from every new game. So they started doing this in X and Y when they gave Mega Evolutions to Pokemon to make them more usable, like Kangaskhan and Pinsir. And then in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, they gave Gallade a Mega Evolution, they gave Camerupt a Mega Evolution, they gave a whole bunch of other Pokemon Evolution to make them appear more useful. And like in Sun and Moon, you had Alolan forms, and in Sword and Shield, you had Galarian forms. And I guess in this game, it's again the same concept of making Pokemon more interesting to use by either by their new typing or by the new design. Just for example, you know, you have Zorora and Zoroark, who are now Ghost Normal instead of Dark type, and I think it's a very unique typing because it can't be hit by a fighting type or Ghost type moves, which is one of its main weaknesses. So it's actually really interesting that. And then you have Pokemon like Voltorb and Electrode, which becomes not just a primary electric type, but a electric grass type, which while it does give it more weaknesses because it's grass, I mean, the whole redesign of it looks pretty good. And the usability of it changes because now you've got additional typing, which means you have access to different moves. And a lot of new moves were created specifically for certain Pokemon in the game, which I thought was really good as well. That there was moves added. You had moves that you could learn by level up, and you could also have moves that you could buy from the lady in Jubilee Village to build on your Pokemon. So if you ever want to get competitive in the game and get like great battle-ready Pokemon, you could do that anyways. So I thought that was really good. So to go through some of my... And also, I also forgot, giving evolutions to Pokemon as well that didn't have evolutions. So we had, Stantler had Widear, we had, Hisuian Sneasel got Sneasler, and we had Ursaring involved in Ursaluna, which was one of my personal favorites. I loved Ursaluna. Don't like the face it makes when it does a strong style or agile style move, but, we'll leave that for another day. But if I had to pick some of my favorite Pokemon in the game that were added to the game, without a doubt would have to be Ursaluna. Would be Hisuian Samurott. I thought was really good, the design, and the fact they made a dark type as well, I thought was great. Hisuian Zoroark and Hisuian Braviary, those are just some of my favorites. I thought they did really good with that. Some of my least favorites, I was not a fan of Sneasler. I looked at Sneasler when they first introduced it in the game, and it just, I don't know, it reminded me of Slender Man for some reason. I just didn't get with it. I didn't agree with it, and I'm sorry if you love Sneasler, but I'm just not a fan. Also, Enamorus. Yeah, it's a trio for a reason. They say 3's enough, 4's a crowd. I know it's not that, but I know that Enamorus, I didn't really like the idea of that edition. Like, the trio was good enough. It's been around for over 10 years. Why ruin a good thing? Because I'd say too much of a good thing. Yeah, this Enamorus, I feel like pushed the threshold in that one. And I wasn't a big fan of it. Like, even the alternate form as well was just weird. It goes like, all the, you got bird, you got like a lion-looking one, then you got like a god-wielding one, and then all of a sudden you've got this snake turtle-looking thing. What is this? What is this? I have no idea. I also didn't like Palkia's alternate form. I really did not like that at all. Like, I saw it in the game, and I'll show you guys my reaction when I saw it for the first time, and you guys can get the idea. Ew, what the hell is that? Ew! No! What is that? It's half horse, half Palkia. What is this? Ew! Oh, I don't like this. What the fuck? And then finally we had also, I was not a big fan of Widear. I don't know what it is. Like, I understand Widear is supposed to be like a reindeer sort of aspect, like the original Stantler, but it looks good, but again, it just wasn't one of those Pokemon that I clicked with. I just didn't personally like it personally. I like riding on one, but as far as picking my favorites, definitely not there. Next topic we're going to be talking about is the graphics. Now, as far as the graphics go, on the grand scale of looking at the entire game, through my gameplay, through me playing through the game, do I think they were perfect? No. I think they were good, but they weren't perfect, Where I saw the weakest part of the game was definitely in its graphics, and I think the biggest part is when you're on the waters and you're battling and even catching a Pokemon, you'll notice that Pokemon, the pixels and everything just goes a little bit wonky there. Even looking at, Pokemon flying in the distance, like flying Gyarados or flying Staraptor or flying whatever. The graphics, it's like jumping across the screen. It doesn't look very fluent. It looks very choppy, the way that they do that. So, again, it's disappointing because I reckon if they perfected that, this could be easily a 10 out of 10, but because sadly, the Switch limitations as far as graphics, they could not perfect it. Someone was commenting on one of my videos saying that, obviously, if they put on PC, it would be better. Well, so I agree. I think PCs obviously have more graphic capabilities than the Switch does, but for the Switch to be able to carry it around, play it wherever you want, I think the Switch beats the PC in that respect. That you could play a Switch, you can go wherever you want. You can go on the bus, you can go on the train, you can go to your nan's house, you can play a Switch, hook up to your TV with a docking station, it's no problem. As far as the PC goes, you only have one spot to hook up your PC or on a laptop. laptop's different, but laptop's the equivalent of the Switch. So even the Switch or a laptop would be on the same level, but compared to a PC, it just doesn't compete. Okay, now next we're talking about the story. So the story. So you're out of person that's been shot out from a different dimension. You do have knowledge about Pokemon, and you are the one that is saving the people of Hisui from these frenzied noble Pokemon. And the fact that everyone in the village that you go to actually fears Pokemon was interesting, because a lot of the games you'll find that, you know, everyone knows about Pokemon, they love Pokemon, they use Pokemon in everyday life. But in this game, they are feared. They are like, you know, don't mess with them. They're gonna mess you up, sort of thing. So I thought that part was interesting, except the only game I could think that would think otherwise was maybe in Gen 5, like with Team Galactic and Getis trying to convince people to liberate Pokemon. That was the only other time I saw Pokemon getting thrown for a spin as far as the public outcry for Pokemon. As in, we love Pokemon. Where in this game, they're like, we're scared of Pokemon. So I thought that was interesting. The battles themselves, obviously Pokemon battling is simplistic in nature, but like, you know, when it comes to battling the frenzied nobles, like the Cleaver, the Arcanine, the Lilligant, the Electrode, and the Avalugg, and even in the future, towards the end, the Palkia, the Dialga, or the Arceus. You know, my advice I give to everyone, because I was really bad at this, is just be patient. If you can time it and time your opponent's attacks, you can dodge at the right time, then throw. I was impatient on some of my battles, and I just launch, and you know what? I lost, because it teaches me that. So, I thought the battles were relatively difficult to an extent, but like again, once you know what you're doing, you're pretty much good to go. Towards the end though, I felt the story felt a bit short. I did not like the fact that you're the ally the whole time to this, you know, the Galaxy Corps group. You're the one going out there doing all the work while they're doing nothing. You help them do what they ask, they tell you to do something, you do it. And then you get blamed by the head commander, Kamado, that you're the reason why all this bad, you know, omen is coming upon us and that you have to go. Which I think is very low, because it's like, excuse me, I've done all this work here. Even Adamant and Irida of the Diamond and Pearl clan was like, come on, don't be like this. Everyone under the sun was like, don't do this. But Kamado, because he has the power, says, you have to go. And it's like, fuck you, asshole. God damn it. Why would you do that to me, man? Sounds like a bad drama. So it's like, you did it. You have to go. Get off it. Anyway, so, you know, you calm down the almighty Sinnohs, plural, because there's two, and, you know, you do the post-story, which is actually fulfilling the original game point, is just to seek out all Pokemon, which I thought was a nice roundabout to what was said to you at the beginning, to say, like, hey, remember what the Arcphone told you to seek out all Pokemon? Eventually, that's what you have to do if you want to complete the game. So, yeah, it's like, you know what I told you to start? Yeah, well, go do it. Otherwise, you can't beat the game, so... The gameplay was pretty smooth. You know, having the ability to craft items and farming resources was a good touch to this game. An aspect of this game that has never been done before. Similar to games like Monster Hunter and again Breath of the Wild. You're probably going to hear that a lot when people review Pokémon Legends Arceus. They'll say, oh, it's like Breath of the Wild, but Pokemon, you know. But having different ride Pokemon for different methods, traveling around Hisui was good too. It's a bit like they've been trying to do that in other games, you know, like in Sun and Moon, where they had, you know, you had the Tauros riding you around, then you had the Sharpino riding you in water, you had the Machamp carrying you around and pushing boulders and stuff. So this is actually a concept that's not new, but I mean, it's been touched up, obviously, with new Pokemon, which I thought that was good too. The idea of catching Pokemon. Now, this is actually one of the good things that I like about this game, that I felt Let's Go, I really hated about Let's Go. And to this day, I still hate Let's Go. I don't think Let's Go was or is a really good game, and I stand by that to this day. I never, ever, ever liked Let's Go. Have I tried playing it? Yes. Have I tried enjoying it? Yes. It didn't take me very far. And this is the biggest thing why. The idea of catching Pokemon by throwing Pokeballs or engaging it in battle, having that choice, you know, so it's a bit of Pokemon Go and the original Pokemon game. I thought that was a really good idea. But in Let's Go, considering that all you could do was catch Pokemon to catch Pokemon and train Pokemon, And it made battling in that game seem like an afterthought. It didn't make it feel like battling, even though that's the whole goal is to battle and get stronger. Let's Go just went, no, you're just going to catch and just battle minimally. Which to me is just really stupid, and it was just, you know, ridiculous. But in this game, they did really good with the option to either just not engage and throw Pokeballs, or if you want to engage, you could stun the Pokemon, you can scare the Pokemon, you can sneak up on the Pokemon, and you can engage it in every which way that you like. So that option is there for you. So I think they did really good with that. Character lineup. Now, you know, I think that the characters in this game was a nice crowd. It wasn't too many characters overflowing in the story. You had a handful of them that appeared for certain stories, and then they made occasional cameos later on in the story. But most of all, you know, you have your main protagonist, you have your main, well, you're the protagonist, so you got yourself, you got your main sidekicks, you got your main allies, you know, you got Professor Laventon, you have Ray, or whoever the chick is that's by your side. I picked the chick, so Ray was my guy. Then, you know, you had Irida, you had Ardaman, you had Kamado, you had Silene, who appeared just so when you get stars, and then you had, like, throughout your story, just the different wardens to the nobles. That's pretty much it, really. Also, fuck you, Kamado, I still don't forgive you. You know, like I said, if I had to pick my favorite character in the game, it would probably have to be the clan leaders of Adaman and Irida. I feel like that both characters were great. They weren't too heavily placed in the story. Yes, they did appear randomly every now and then. You had Adaman appearing for the second part of the game where you're taking on the Lilligant, and then in the third phase you had Irida coming up when they were trying to get Arcanine, Growlithe to get trained up and all that sort of thing. I feel like they were good. There was no designs, they had right things to say, they weren't too over the top. If I had to pick my least favorite character, now this is going to probably piss a lot of people off when I say this, but my least favorite character in this game, it's not Ray, it's not your sidekick in the game, it's Professor Laventon. I'm sorry, but out of all the professors in the Pokemon game, I don't know, I just felt the least connection with Laventon. First off, I think he was way too involved in the story than what he needs to be, because every time you complete a mission, he's there, and it's like, all the professors, like, they tell you go catch them all, and that's it. That's all I want from my professor. Like, there was a lot of dialogue in the middle of everything. It just felt like it was a bit much for me to have Laventon just to keep appearing. We kept having potato mochi sessions, and it was just a bit much for me. Like, come to me when we have big problems. Like, I mean, hell, I have to talk to you every time I want to leave an area, so I know you're already there. But, like, I think it's a bit much. Even Professor Oak would be like, you know, whoa, hold on there, chap. You know, like, you know, relax, you know. But I just feel like, even with Rowan, I will say this, even with Professor Rowan in Sinnoh, I felt more of a connection with him than I did with Laventon. I'm just not a big fan of that professor. I'm sorry if he's your favorite. My favorite professor, honestly, is between Oak and Rowan. I do like both of them. I would say Juniper is close second, third, but otherwise I would say Laventon has earned a spot as the weakest professor in my opinion. So sorry guys, if you like Laventon, that's my bad. Now, to draw a conclusion to my whole review of this game. Now, I've got a couple of questions to ask myself, and then I'll ask you though. So, do I think this is a great game? Absolutely. Would I like to see this style of game done, but in a different generation? Absolutely. You never please. Was this game perfect? No. I admit that this game is not perfect. I understand that this game has had a lot of problems. I never said every single game that exists has problems. Every single Pokemon game that has been made from Red and Blue to now does have problems. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there is a perfect Pokemon game, because there is not. If you wanted to argue the point of being a perfect Pokemon game, for me personally, it would be a tie between Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Black and White 2. Between those games, I feel like there's a perfect game in the midst of those two sorts of games. As far as Legends Arceus goes, though, for a game that's, again, for the first time taking a branch out into a different, you know, era, I honestly enjoyed the game, and I have to give credit where credit's due. You know, Game Freak did a really good job with this. You know, they took Pokemon down in a different, you know, aspect with the open world exploring and the battling and their engagement and everything else. And I think they were very successful. And if we continue to give positive feedback to them on how well they did in this game, then this may not be the last Legend game franchise that we see. There'll be hopefully those games that we've asked for Sinnoh, or for Unova, or for Hoenn. You know, there could be remakes, there could be Johto, you know, it could be Kanto, although I don't think I want to see a Kanto remake of Legend, because I think Kanto has been overdone a little bit much. Let's just leave Kanto, let's just move on to other ones, okay? I think I'll be happy with that. Ratings wise, I would give this game honestly a 9 out of 10. I think this game was too good not to give it a 9, but with the issues they have in this game, if they could curtail those issues and hone in on them and improve on them and make the games better, if they do decide to make another addition to the franchise, then, you know, I think there could be a perfect game made in the future that is a Legend franchise. So that is my opinion of Pokemon Legends Arceus. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did and you enjoy these kinds of videos, let me know in the comment section down below if you thought this was a good review. If you guys have any, I guess, critiques of my review or critiques of the game that goes against what I've discussed in my video, leave a comment down below, and I'm more than happy to eloquently discuss with you in the comment section, debate if you will, rebut if you will, but on a nice level playing field, not too over the top. And this is why I tell everyone, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying that my opinion is factual, it is subjective. I'm giving my thoughts on the game, and if you don't agree with it, that's okay. But just be nice about it, don't be a dick about it. If you want to argue against what I've said, by all means, you're free to do that. Just don't go over the top of it. And this is why I tell every person that reviews games, you know, as soon as someone argues against them, they get defensive. You know, at the end of the day, I enjoy playing the game, and that's the main thing. And hopefully you guys enjoy the game as well, because I really like the game, and I was apprehensive about it at first, didn't think it was going to do too well, but it did really well, so it blew my expectations away. And again, I think they did a fantastic job of this game. So good job, Game Freak. You get my thumbs up of approval. So if you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you want to comment down below. If you want to show your support for the channel and you like seeing videos like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button to show your support for the channel, and hit the notification bell so that you know when the next video drops and you stop boxes on the YouTubes. And if you guys like me doing reviews like this, then leave a comment down below and tell me if there's another game you'd like me to review, because I don't do this often where I do reviews. I do mostly Let's Plays and shiny hunting and all that, but every now and then I do a review or a vlog or something like that. But if you guys really like this sort of content, tell me, and maybe I might do more of them in the future if I get enough recommendations from you guys or enough requests from you guys to do it. So guys, until next time I see you guys in the next video, stay safe, stay sharp, and I'll catch you guys all next time. Later.